If you have an SN95 Mustang or a new Edge Mustang, then you've either experienced or you've heard the debate about the hanging RPM, which is oh so annoying. Today though, we're going to be combating that issue, hopefully. There's a bunch of things that you can supposedly do to make the hanging RPM go away, because it is very annoying. One of which is a tune, but you can only get so far. The second option is one of these bad boys, an idle air control valve restrictor plate. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Ethan. Welcome to Covert Garage. We're going to be working today on my 2000 Mustang GT. Obviously, this has had a lot of work done to it. If you've seen previous videos, you'll know we pulled the motor out, built a brand new motor from the bottom up. It's got cams in it, basically full bolt-on. We went through some serious tuning stuff on it. We're pushing right now with factory gearing to a little over 280 wheel horsepower. When we re-gear it soon, should see in the 300s. This is the motor we're going to be working on though. We know the IAC does work. We're just running into this problem. I'll show you kind of what this restrictor plate is going to do and how it should theoretically help us out. For reference, here is a gasket for the IAC. Here's the restrictor plate. You can see the difference in the sizes of holes right there. Basically, the issue with the hanging RPM, at least the IAC related hanging RPM, is it's getting so much airflow going into it that the engine is kind of having a hard time regulating what the idle's supposed to be. What the restrictor plate does is it restricts the amount of air that's getting to the idle air control valve, thus the engine will idle down sooner. At least that is the theory. That's what we're going to test out today. We're going to take it for a little cruise, I think, so I can show you the before problem, what it's doing, hanging RPM. Then we're going to take it after we install the part and see if it actually does make a difference. For those curious, the restrictor plate cost me about $19 on eBay. I will link it down in the description. The gaskets cost me $3.30 at the auto parts store. Came with the pack of 2. So all in all, we're at like $30 including shipping. Quick rundown on the car and what's up with it. So it's been through a quite arduous journey in its life. Pretty abused, but we're doing our best to bring it back. The motor, brand new motor, about 3,000 miles, new piston rings, new bearings, comp cams, a whole slew of other upgrades. If you want to see those, go check out some later videos. We've got to let her warm up for a little bit. We'll take her for a cruise around the block so we can see what it's doing with everything factory, and we'll put that plate on there, see if it does make a difference after all. Now here's kind of what's going on. I'll show you what the hanging RPM issue is that I'm talking about. This used to be so much worse before the tuners did as much work as they could to take that out. However, it's still just a little bit. In fourth gear, the problem gets even worse. On the gas, let off for the clutch, and it holds right there. Does it affect performance? Not really. Is it annoying? Yeah, it's pretty annoying. So again, fourth gear, 2,000 RPM, clutch is in right now, and it takes that long for it to come back down. So we're gonna head back, put the restrictor plate on, and see if it does, in fact, make a difference like they claim. Now that the engine's got some more heat on it, here's a really good representation of what I'm talking about. See how it just holds RPM like that? Really, really super annoying. Let's get to work. The kit I bought did come with some nifty instructions. I think we can figure it out on our own though, considering we built the motor. So we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the negative side of the battery, unplug the IAC, which is that boy right there, unbolt it, and put the plate in. Easy as that. Now that the IAC is off, we can focus on putting this on. So this only has one way it needs to go on, and that is with the little side right over that hole right there. Basically with this, we're making a restrictor sandwich. So we have the two gaskets, one on bottom, then the restrictor plate, and then one on top. This goes before the IAC, and we bolt everything together, and all our problems should be solved, theoretically. Okay, I was mistaken a little bit. I did read the instructions. Very important info. It says, for best results, install with the smaller hole toward the electric motor side, which is obviously very important. So we're actually putting this thing on here like that. Now there is still a difference, as you can see, in the hole size. So this is still restricting it. If it's not enough, then we can always flip it around and put the smaller hole there. Now that we got that installed, we can hook up the battery, start the car. I know there's mixed opinions on whether to use gaskets or not to use gaskets. In this case, the instruction says to use gaskets. So we're going to, but I'm sure you could have similar results or whatnot without a gasket. Battery is all plugged back in, so let's go ahead, give this thing a start, and see if it makes a difference. So that's very interesting. It actually got worse, which is really strange. So I think we're going to take it off, flip it around, and then see how it does. And if it still isn't better, then it's probably because of all the tuning work you had done to combat that already. We'll give it a shot, see what happens. I went ahead and flipped that plate around. Let's give it another start and see if it actually makes a difference. So I've been running the car for really a few weeks now with that idle air control valve to see if it did make a difference once the computer learns. So there's a few interesting findings that we have after letting the computer learn a little bit. Now first off, so our idle on this car is set at 850 RPMs with the tune that we have on there. It's been there since we built the motor and the tune and everything's learned. 850 RPMs. Recently, we're now at like 950 to 1,000. Is it because of the idle air control valve, or is it because of the tune? I don't know. It doesn't make sense, the IAC, because the idle air control valve controls the air that passes through when the throttle plate's closed. So there should be less. So you think the computer would figure it out? I don't know. But the hanging RPM is like completely fixed. It's so much better than it was. When you go to shift, it drops down just like it's supposed to. So technically, the idle air control valve restrictor plate, it has done the job. It did what it set out to do. The hanging RPM issue is gone. Now, we just have to figure out the slight idle issue. I'm gonna talk to the tuner, see what that's about. I'm sure it's probably something on my end that's not quite right. It could even be the gasket situation. I don't know. So we're going to try out a few different things. We'll even take the plate out. We'll see if we still have the little higher idle. And if we do, then we'll work on tune to get that down. You know, cars learn over time, so it's something the car is doing that we're not telling it to. I'm going to take the car out on the road. I'll show you the difference that we have now with the IAC restrictor plate, how much better shifting is with the RPMs that no longer hang where they're not supposed to be. Hanging RPM was honestly one of my least favorite things about this car, since I spent so much money into building this motor. That hanging RPM was really annoying. So the fact that it fixed that It was really, really awesome. It came with one extra little surprise too that we didn't have. We got some snap, crackles, and pops now. Right off the bat, even revving it, we got some pops now. Those are new. Those weren't there. They sound awesome. They do. All right, now watch how much faster RPM drops on the shift. Than what we were dealing with prior to having the IAC Restrictor Plate. And now also in fourth gear, if you remember, it would kind of hang where it was. It's not doing that either. Cruising in fourth gear, press the clutch in, RPM drops just like it's supposed to. So I went out and I did a little bit of driving with the GoPro attached to the back bumper, so you can really, really hear the differences in what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that. That kind of gives you the best demonstration of the difference that the idle air control valve did indeed make. So all in all, was it worth the just about $30 that I spent? It accomplished the goal. The hanging RPM is no longer there, and that is why we got it. So is it worth it for 30 bucks? I'd say it probably is. Now we are still gonna work and try to figure out the idle issue. I put a cam in it for a reason, and at 1,000 RPM, it's kind of difficult to hear it, believe it or not. So we're gonna try to pin down the cause of that. We're probably gonna take the plate off, see if it does make a difference, see if it idles down at 850 where it's supposed to be, and then we'll kind of go from there. If you want to see how that turns out though, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that is going to be coming very soon. I hope you guys really did enjoy today's video. If y'all want to see more videos like this, more parts that we tested on the car, leave a comment down below. I really appreciate y'all stopping by. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, always keep it classy, and I'll catch y'all very soon.